Hello and welcome once again to United Promotions series of tutorials on using our ROES system. Today we're going to talk about what you do while you're in your cart, how to actually send the order, and making sure that the options and so forth that are in your cart are checked correctly so that your order will come through to the lab. So let's bring ROES up. We've got Sports ROES open and we've already got an order started in Sports ROES. So if we go to View Cart, some of the things that you can do while you're in your cart. First, obviously you should be checking to make sure that the images you need are actually the images that you have ordered from, and also making sure that what you have ordered from those images is accurate. Again, as we said before, we advise you to check the cart every 3 to 4 images and making sure that the items you need have been ordered correctly. So a couple of things you can do in the cart that we haven't talked about yet is you can edit some of the items or some properties of the items within the cart. For instance, you can change quantities here. If I made a mistake and I only ordered 1 here and I needed 2, I could actually go in and change that to a 2. Or let's say I ordered the complete wrong thing. I can come to this side of the program on the right side and click on this little pen or pencil icon. And you see, when I hover on it, it says edit this item. So let's say instead of an 8x10, I should have ordered a 5x7 from him. I can click on this. It takes me back to my cart, it takes me back to my ordering page. I can actually click on the 2 5x7s and I can grab him, put him back in. And you notice now instead of saying add to cart, it says save, because you're actually editing an item that's already there. So if I click save, now I can go to my cart, and you see he's changed to 2 5x7s and the 8x10 is gone. If I wanted to delete him, let's say I just completely ordered the wrong image number, I could click on this X right here. It says remove with a question mark. Yes, you want to remove it, and it's gone. Number 2 slides up to number 1, and so on and so forth. So once we're sure our order is correct, we come over here, we have to start filling out our options as far as how the order is going to be packed, when we need it, and so on and so forth for the order to be sent through to us. The first field you see here, and it's checked for you because it is a required field, is enter a job ID here. This is not where you put your customer number. This is where you would name the actual job. If it's Bob's Baseball League, then that's what you would type in there. That way when you call in, if you wanted to check on your job and you weren't sure what the job number was, you could call in and say I sent a job in and it was Bob's Baseball. We can look that up in the system and find it and let you know where your order is. The next item you see is part number. Part number is designed for, let's say you've got an order that's got 500 images in it, and you don't want to send 500 images in one order. It's just too big and too cumbersome for the ROES program to handle, or maybe possibly for your computer to handle. So you want to split it into two different pieces, but the same job. Then you could come down here and type in part 1 of 2, and that way when we get it and we see it, we'll know, well, this is part 1. There are actually 2 parts to this, so there should be another piece coming in the very near future. So if you do that, if you do make a part 1 of 2, you don't want to wait 2 weeks to send us part 2. It should be here, within a day or so. Alright, the next one is attach roster. you would attach a roster to this if we were doing something specific with possibly with data matching or something like that later on down the road. If you had photographed an entire school, you wanted to attach the roster because later on we're going to need to organize it and add data to it here, then you could do that, add a roster to it. Attach a logo file. We do have products contained within ROES that are called logo products. They will put your logo on the print, or on the prints I should say, but you have to give us the logo. So here's where you would attach it. Generally a PSD file works very well, possibly a PNG, but generally a layered file would work best for us. And again, if you want your logo on your prints, you must use the logo units. We cannot put your logo on prints if you use the general volume prints or sports and event images. You must use the logo units, which are contained within the regular sizes palette. Attach an extra file. That may mean that you've got something that you already have, an image or something that you're happy with the color on, and you want to send it to us and say, hey, this is the color orange that I'm looking to get. We want to make sure you guys can get as close to that color as you can. So something like a matching guide or what have you could be sent with that. You can send up to 2 files through this way. Next we have choose the date you need this job in your hands, and that's literally what this means. You click on this and it activates the calendar. So within reason, ROES jobs are generally 2 days in lab. That's for sheets only. Once you start to begin or once you start to add add-ons like coffee mugs, mouse pads, dog tags, laser statues, things like that, then you have to begin to add days to the order. Generally it's 1 day per different add-on, or in some cases if you're ordering an extraordinarily large amount of something, you may need to give us a call and check on our turnaround time for something like that. If you plan on ordering 2,000 coffee mugs, you might want to give us a call and inquire as to how long it would take us to produce that order. So if you sent an order in on the 8th, you would count 1-2 days for the sheets, and if you only had 1 or 2, or let's say you only had a couple of add-on items, you had 1 coffee mug and 1 mouse pad, then you probably only need to add 1 extra day. So that job couldn't even ship until the 11th. Okay. So if you need the job in your hands the 12th, you either have to pay for overnight shipping or you're in trouble. So you want to make sure that when you promise your jobs out, you leave yourself enough time, not just for the in-lab time, but the time it takes for it to get to you through shipping. If you're unsure about that, then you can always call and ask to talk to the shipping department, tell them where you're located, and they can usually give you a general idea of how long it takes to get something to you. It's not always going to be exact, but they can give you a general idea. So let's say it was the 8th and you've got a couple of add-ons, so you need it in your hands by the 15th. Okay? You would click the 15th. Promotional discounts. If you saw us at a trade show, ran into us at a trade show, you may have gotten from us a discount coupon. Good for a discount on your first order. So you would check this, and the coupon's going to have a code. This is where you would enter that code, whatever it happens to be. Packaging options are exactly what they say. We have 4 different options for you as far as packaging goes. We have windowed envelopes, clear plastic bags, plain white bags, and bulk pack. Bulk pack is packed. All the prints come in one big stack. They come to you in the same order that you built the job. I know some of you you pack your own stuff, and that's fine. That's what you would choose, bulk pack. If you want us to pack it, then you basically have plain white envelopes, clear plastic bags, or windowed envelopes. Those are the 3 options that we have for you. Payment info, again, pretty self-explanatory. Whatever arrangements you have worked out with our accounting office, that's what you would check here. If you prepay, fine. If you have a credit card on file, fine. Again, these last two items, COD, guaranteed funds, again, all depends on what you've worked out with as options with our accounting department. And the last one on this page is copyright notice. You must own the copyrights to your photos. You can't send us something that has a copyright on from Olin Mills or Lifetouch or something like that. You must own the rights to your images. And then down here we have some more. Finalize your order. It says, I have reviewed my order and found no mistakes. What that means is you've actually looked through your order and found no mistakes, so you want to make sure you do that. Type yes here to continue, and that's really what it means. Go in here and type in yes, that you have done that. If you don't do this, it will not let the order go through. It'll keep coming back saying you need to add text, and that's what it's talking about. It's talking about right here. You must type in the word yes. Shipping info. Generally when we ship, we're going to ship it to whatever address we have for your account. If you need it shipped to a different address, then yes, you would click the alternate shipping address and you would type in here where it needs to go. Special instructions are just that. Click in here. If there's something we need to know about this order, for instance, you know that the lighting was really bad and you'd like to know if we can help you out, color correcting it back to a more normal, pleasing color rendition. That's where you would put this. If you had trouble, for instance, with one of the products, I used this product, I'm not sure that I used it correctly, can you check? Yes, we will check for you. Okay? Or you may not have anything for either one of these two fields, and that's fine too. Something I forgot to mention up here at the top. One of the other reasons you might attach one of these files is if you'd like package labels put on your envelopes that contain your packages. You could send us or attach to this an Excel file, for instance, and that Excel file would have to be in the same order that this report or that your card is in, starting with this image number, then this one, then this one. Okay, so you could put things like student name and image number, or student name and homeroom, or what have you. Bearing in mind that package labels are not that big, so we can't put first name, last name, teacher's name, principal's name, school name, that type of thing would be going a little bit too much for a package label. But we could do first name, last name, homeroom, maybe one or two other small things to identify. If they got a student ID, then maybe you just want to put a student ID on them. But again, it must be in the same order as this. Same order as your cart, because the way that the prints come off the printer is this will be first, second, third, fourth. So if it doesn't match this, then we're not going to have, and we're not going to know. We don't know who this kid is. You might, but we don't. So if this isn't Steve Smith, then Steve Smith should not be the first one on your labels. So once we get this part filled out correctly, then we're going to hit complete and send order, which is flashing down here. Oops, and I didn't fill out special instructions because I clicked it. So I'll uncheck it, and now go. Here it's going to ask for your account information. Generally, the first time you fill this out, it's not going to ask you for this again. I haven't filled anything out on this one, so we will. remembered my account number from the login. And then finally, your tax exempt, you check tax exempt. It's not going to ask you for your number. And then we go next. It's going to ask you how you want it shipped. UPS ground is the standard that we ship by. If you have an order that's $90 or over, $90 or more, you get free UPS ground shipping. If it's not $90, if it's less than that, then you pay whatever it is that we pay. If you decide you need or you want one of these other services, 3-day, 2-day, UPS, next day air, FedEx, anything else like that, then we charge you whatever it is that it costs us to ship the order that way. But you need to fill one of these out, depending, again, the default's always going to be UPS ground. And then it's going to ask you what you want to do. Send now via the internet, save for sending later, or save to disk for alternate delivery. You can actually burn a ROES order to a disk and send it in that way if you don't have access to the internet. But most of you are going to send it through the internet, so once you do that, you would come down here and say, okay, I'm ready to send it, so we're going to send it now. Your order's being sent. We can go to uploads. And this was my order, which should have been sent. This was a small order, so it went very quickly. Obviously, a large order with 200 or 300 images in is not going to go that quickly. It's going to take a few hours to send that in. So once you see this, then after that, you're going to be looking for an email confirmation. So when you fill out your paperwork or fill out your form here within ROES and you type in your email address, you want to make sure it's an email address that, number one, is valid, so it's a good email address, and number two, it's one that you check consistently. ROES always generates an email. It sends one to us and it sends one to whatever email you have listed as yours. If you do not get an email confirmation, then chances are we did not receive your order. In that case, you would want to call us and double check. Occasionally, not very often, but occasionally we get your order and you don't get an email. It doesn't happen that often, but it does happen. So don't just assume that because you didn't get an email, we didn't get your order and send it in again. That's a real good way to get something printed twice. So again, once the order is sent, you should receive an email generally within an hour after the send is finished. If you don't, then again, give us a call. If it's after hours, then call us first thing in the morning and make sure that we did indeed receive the order. If not, you'll have to resend it, and if you're not sure how to do that, then we can go over that with you on the phone once we find out we haven't gotten the order from you. ROES will hold orders that have been sent in for different periods of time. The default is 2 weeks. So basically, once this order hits 2 weeks, it's going to remove it from there. You can set it for different amounts of time. You can always keep 1 month, 1 day, so on and so forth. It's usually not a good idea to keep a lot of these orders in there. It clogs up your system and it does eat up the resources on your computer, and ROES is already a resource hog. So generally 2 weeks is a safe bet. If you're sending a lot of orders on a consistent basis, then you may only want to keep them for a week. Generally, I tell folks to try to keep them until they get the orders back from us. So 2 weeks is a pretty safe amount of time. Once you get it back, make sure everything's right. That way, if something's wrong, you don't have to go rebuild the whole order. You can send it again or what have you. Alright, well that basically concludes this part of the video. Again, we appreciate you watching and we look forward to working with you. Thank you very much.